All right, here we go. Another edition of Less Kevin, More Tech from UTEC IT, if we can get through it, right, Les?
That's right. We're on our maiden voyage for our new podcast studio.
Maiden voyage out of Ann Arbor, Michigan.
That's right.
So today we were able to drag somebody off the golf course. That's a big ask because he's out there all the time, but we were able to get him to come off the golf course and bring him into studio, and that's Mr. Mike Malach. Mike, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
So,
Oh, Mike.
Mike is our director. Is that official title? Or
Executive director.
Executive
yeah.
director, yes.
Don't forget that big word.
I was just going to
at the
say,
beginning.
I mean,
That's an important word.
Does.
Executive director of the Ann Arbor Sports Commission, which is a byproduct of Destination Ann Arbor, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And Mike, you've had the tough job of you gave up a wonderful career over there at EMU, assistant athletic director for, what,
21 years.
21 years over there?
Almost 22.
Wow.
Yeah, and did a great job for the athletic department at EMU to take on this new challenge. And you take the job, and a couple weeks later we say, okay, we're going to shut down for
Exactly.
3 or 4 years for COVID.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been a rough transition. You know, I started in October of 18, and we went home in March of 19, I think it was.
Wow.
So we basically didn't get anything done. I mean, we had a few events here and there, but then we sat around for 2 years. So I feel like, you know, we came back to the office, and we're all back kind of moving along. Tourism is starting to jump back. Sporting events are back. But it still feels like we're almost started last month again. Like the whole process, all the conversations, all the event plan, everything is starting to ramp up again, like we just started all over. So
how did you keep that together?
I don't know. It was interesting. The good part about that tourism business, and again, I'm a rookie in this tourism business. I had a college athletic background, so I took a leap of faith on this thing. But sports is the one thing that kept us alive because you could do it outdoor during COVID.
Good
so
point.
in the summer, we still had baseball tournaments. We still had softball. We had soccer. We had all that stuff still going on. They were smaller, organized a little different, but we had all that. The rest of the office didn't have any business meetings, no travel, no leisure. I mean,
Bowling
nothing.
leagues are out, too.
Bowling leagues were out. Even hockey was out. I mean,
that's
we lost hockey. We lost figure skating. We lost a lot of those indoor events. But in the summer, we were the only ones doing anything. I mean, the airfare didn't even go off, and we still had events going on. So it was a nice saving grace for our office and the whole organization that we still had sports to keep us rolling along.
Yeah, wow.
So take us back before we get too deep into this. You had a great career there at EMU.
Right.
You were doing wonderful things for the athletic department. I know Scott was always loved you, but he was sorry to see you go.
Yeah.
But what was that like to make that decision to jump into this, and what intrigued you about making this switch?
The intriguing part was doing something just slightly different. I'm not a young guy anymore, and I handled the operations and the facility stuff. And, a football game day is a 16, 18-hour day on your feet, no lunch hour, no 30-minute mandatory break periods or anything. It took me, I'd get done working a game on Saturday, and I'd sit around the house all day Sunday because you didn't want to do anything. So when this opportunity came up, it was just a different lifestyle. And the bigger thing was I've always wanted to do something that has an impact in the long haul, something that where you could, when I leave this world or even just leave this job, that, you did something a little different. It felt like athletics is a great place. The relationships are wonderful, the people you meet, but it's almost like Groundhog Day every year. I mean, you get to August 1st, and it's football season. You got to do this. You get to November basketball. So, I mean, it was the same thing over and over. And it gets a little redundant after a while. And I want to do something that had a little more of an impact on the community and the kids. And this job actually gives me a pretty good opportunity, a platform to try to do some of those things. So it was a good call.
I don't think people realize when you talk about putting on a football game or the basketball game, just how much time goes into that. And
I mean, a
all the
typical,
details.
if it's a 2:00 kick, I was in there at 5:30 in the morning. The games now, college football games are 3.5, 4 hours. By the time you get done with the game, it's another 2-3 hour cleanup and just getting everything organized. And then you get home and you can't move and you still want to watch football, because you haven't seen anything all day except your team. So it's a long process. So
So you don't get that TV timeout or
No.
nothing like
Nothing.
that.
You get. I mean, that's the worst part about college football, in my opinion. When you're working the games, is those TV timeouts. I mean, you sit up there and just look at your watch, waiting for that 3:20 to tick off, so that you can keep this thing moving and get home. So, yep.
Wow.
Well, that's I know that Sean Duvall had a big role, with Mary Kerr there at Destination Ann Arbor, that they saw they wanted to create a sports commission for the tourism and the industry here, and I think that's great. And it was mixed emotions when you were announced, because I knew we were a big fan of the EMU athletic department, what we were losing over there, but I thought it was a neat story and a great way to start this commission with you there.
Yeah, I was actually at the kickoff luncheon for the sports commission when they announced it, and they had Sean Kraybeck was the interim at the time. He lasted 30 days, and then they asked Bruce Motti to come in and do it for a little while, and then I played golf with Bruce, and Bruce said, "You should apply for this job. You'd be perfect." And I'm like, "Oh, let's."
Did he lead
we'll
off
see.
by saying, "Hey, the last guy
No,
lasted 30 days"?
He did not. So it went well, but yeah, it kind of rolled into that, and it was a hard decision. It was not an easy one. We were we spent some time in Door County, Wisconsin with the family, and we went to a little winery with my dad and the kids and my wife, and we sat out on the patio with a nice bottle of wine and some cheese and crackers, and we had a list, and we just went over it, and it was kind of a family decision we made. So
You're from Wisconsin?
Correct.
Interesting.
Just outside of Green Bay.
He's
And
a
now
Badger,
you're-
Packer, you name it.
Yeah, right
Choose
here
that,
in Ann Arbor and
Yep.
Lion Country.
Yeah, I wear my red when the Big Blue over there is playing the Badgers. So.
How well does that go over, I wonder?
No, you don't say a whole lot about it.
Yeah, I got it.
I just don't wear my Michigan gear when we're hosting up in the suite. So
That's great.
Yeah.
Sounds
So-
like, well, go ahead.
What's going on with the sports commission? You mentioned you had some outdoor
Right.
events, and we were able to keep some of that going, but it really felt like you were punching with one arm behind your back, I
Right.
think, with that. What are we looking for with the sports commission?
So there's still a lot going on. I mean, we're obviously promoting this area as much as possible. We're at all the conferences, all the sales shows, doing everything. Megan Hughes, who's my associate director, does a great job selling this place. But we have 4 really big events coming up. One, we're doing a high school basketball classic just before Christmas. It's 3 days. There's 18 teams from the state primarily, just because of the MHSAA rules and how you can host. We'll have the NAI National Championship Cheer and Dance. We hosted that last year at it's called the George Gervin Center now, not the Convocation Center anymore, but we hosted that last year. We have that this year and next year, and we're actually in the bidding for that for 24 and 25, and I suspect we'll win that bid because that building is so much more professional and everything for an event like that, just because of the TV capabilities, the video, everything. I mean, it's just a perfect setup for that cheer and dance thing.
Have you ever seen a more competitive sport?
No, it's crazy.
Isn't it?
Last year, it was really weird because we were still under a little bit of the COVID protocol.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any banquets. We didn't have anything like that. We did this, they do a team building event with the local community. We did that over Zoom. We made blankets for Mott's Hospital, and we did it over Zoom. Each team was in their own little room, and then the blanket company came in. But at the end, it was just, we had to wait on some scoring glitches that were happening, and the place went nuts. These kids were dancing and screaming and running around. They were doing like a little dance off. They'd throw a team in the middle, and they would all dance. I mean, it was really, really, and I'm not a cheer and dance guy. That's just not where I fall in.
Yeah.
But it was really entertaining to watch. I mean, they were so much fun, and it's a pretty quick event. It's a couple hours only,
Wow.
and they only do a 3-minute routine, and that's it.
Yeah.
One routine, and they're done. So
I was always shocked at how competitive
Yep.
the cheer and the dance and the
So
parents are especially.
yeah, Concordia was the national championship in 2020.
Really?
They were the cheer team national champions, so they're very competitive over there, and they're
Yeah.
the host school for this. We have to do these NAI events with a host school, so Concordia is our host school for that event.
Man, we're gonna have to bring them in.
Yep.
Do you think, Kevin would be a good? What is it? The person on the top of the pyramid?
I don't know.
I think it'd be a better base.
What do
I
they call
agree with
that
you.
role? They call it a flyer.
Yeah, I think
flyer.
he'd be better on the
Yeah.
bottom. Yeah, I agree. And then a couple other events we got. We're hosting an AGGA event, which is the American Junior Golf Association. That'll be at Leslie Park in May. That's got 85 to 88 golfers from around the world that'll compete in this. It's the top juniors in the world that play in this event. And then we're hosting, for our second year, the Epson Tour, which is the minor league tour for the LPGA event, and we'll have that at Travis Point the first weekend in June.
So your organization really has a global reach.
Correct.
You know,
We try to.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. I mean, those are.
Yeah. I mean, Ann Arbor's got a global name. I mean, we have an international airport 20 miles away. You got one of the top universities in the country, you know, right in your back door here. So when you
Second to Wisconsin.
yeah,
of
second to
course.
Wisconsin,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. At least when it comes to party school, that's for sure. But yeah, the Ann Arbor area kind of sells itself. We don't have a hard time selling it. We actually have a lot of organizations that come to us that want to be here. We just don't have the facilities for a lot of these bigger events right now. We don't have a convention center. We don't have a big athletic complex. You know, to bring in 300 soccer teams is virtually impossible.
Is something like that in the works at all?
Yeah, we're working on a youth facility plan right now. We've done a feasibility study. We're looking at a couple areas in the county where to put it to find the best. You know, it's hard to. We've got so many jurisdictions in this county when it comes to the city of Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti and the township and Pittsfield and Saline and Chelsea. I mean, there's just so many. And county alone. It's just trying to find the right fit for it. So we're I would say we're 25% into planning. You know, we're working on a couple of things to try to find the funding for it now and figure out the best place for it. Yeah, it's a big facility. It's about 125 to 130 acre facility. It's quite big.
Because we have the hotel space in a lot of ways. You know, people probably argue for even more hotels, but if we could get some convention space here, like you said, Ann Arbor people are calling you guys to come here.
Exactly.
You don't have to go out and call. I mean, your sales pitch is pretty easy, isn't it?
Even from the business side, the business meetings, the university and the hospital over there, they host a ton of that stuff, and we just don't have that centralized convention center like some of these bigger towns, like Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids is a perfect example. Detroit's a perfect example. They've got those convention centers, and they've got them downtown. Everybody wants to be downtown Ann Arbor. They don't want to be in Saline. They don't want to be in Ypsi. They want to be downtown Ann Arbor so they can come to their meetings, walk to all the restaurants, the bar, do their thing, and go on. And, you know, we're running out of space down there, as you know. There's a building going up every other day, it seems like, down there.
But it's a great cityscape. Lots to do.
Yeah, when the unions come in here, we host 5 different unions over the summer, and they've been here, my understanding is almost 35 years already. And they just keep coming back because they just love that environment. They love working with Washtenaw Community College, University of Michigan, and having that downtown feel. So,
yeah, I ran into one of our clients, the EBW 58, I think it is. Yeah, I ran into some of them. They were just ecstatic. And they had mentioned how they just love coming back to the community and participating. And gosh, I mean, they had so many buses, just took over the city.
Yeah, and we do a lot of that for them. Like, we set up a downtown block party for them. We handle a lot of transportation. We get things from the city, from the county, just declarations saying we're so happy you're here, and they can hand them off to their big wigs and do all that. But there's a lot of things we do with those unions. We have one person in the office assigned to each union just to make sure that thing goes out, because they fill a lot of room. The biggest union fills every single room here for a week. You can't get a hotel room that week.
Wow.
We have over 5,500 rooms in the county, so they fill every single one of them.
Yeah, and people do like being downtown because it's a great spot to be. But I think when you talk about some of these sports teams, when they come in, they can be downtown. They can go swimming. They can go out to eat. But there's a lot to do, like you did mention, though, with Chelsea and Saline. And that's what makes it nice for the county. They can get into Ypsi, and they can see what Ypsi has to offer, and it breaks up their stay here and gets out for a couple
we
of
pitch,
days.
Rolling Hills Park. You'd be surprised how many people don't know of Rolling Hills. And Rolling Hills has got a great water park in there. That's a great place to send these kids, these families when they got downtime. They got a couple hours. If we're close there, give them a ticket, send them up there, let the kids get wet a little bit and run around. And as you get older kids in these tournaments, the high school age kids, it's a perfect opportunity for them to do their college tours. They can go visit Michigan. They can visit Eastern Michigan. They can visit Concordia. We do a lot of that stuff, too, is help set up those visits if they want with some of these teams and the parents, and just connect them up and make sure they got access to what they need while they're here.
Yeah, we can't sell this too hard because we don't want people coming in and ruining it. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's moving to Nashville, and all of a sudden it'll be gridlock down there. But we do have, and I'm glad you brought that up, because with WCC, Eastern, Concordia, U of M, there are a ton of educational opportunities here.
Correct.
And it's great for those kids to get to see that. And people think sports commission, they think you got to have a Super Bowl or a Final Four, and it's really not about that, is it? We want to find we want to find first class events like that,
Correct.
but it's all those other things that bring, where they got to travel to the city, hotels.
And when you talk about those big events, those are going to very specific areas that can handle that. I mean, we're never going to have the Super Bowl even the soccer event that was here and the ice hockey events, those overwhelmed the town.
Yeah.
I mean, it took over the town, those events. Can you imagine a Super Bowl at the big house? You wouldn't be able to, it'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Even the draft that's happening in Detroit in 24, I think it is.
Yes.
We've already got requests for hotel rooms over here because it's expensive over there and it's not that far driving. It gives them something to do outside the draft too. That's over here too. They get to experience a little bit of Ann Arbor in the area. So we are looking for quality events. We're not looking for, we're going to have some local promoters. We're going to do some things to help them out because they'll bring teams in and that's your bread and butter. When you start bringing in the regional events, that's where you're going to get people coming in. Those are repeat visits. You hope those families come back on a leisure trip for a long weekend somewhere in the summer or fall when they want to hit all the cider mills or something.
I think Ann Arbor's going to host another outdoor hockey event.
We got asked that the other day. I don't know how many times. Somebody kept bringing it up, and that was a Michigan-driven, athletic department-driven event. If they want to go after it, yes. I don't know why they wouldn't do it again, but it would have to come from them. That's not something that we could go after and get, and we can't. We funded that party and a lot of things to help out there, but we can't take on an event of that size financially in our unit. That's something that Michigan's got to really manage. So, but we'd be full partners with them if they wanted to do it again.
In Michigan, frankly, would want to control that.
Exactly.
Versus,
they're not going to give it up to us. They want to partner, obviously, and do the things that the town can help with. But they want everything else. They want the notoriety and everything that comes with that. So.
Yeah. So you mentioned an event that I'm excited about, and I know we're going to do some work with you on that, and that's the Epson Tour coming back for the ladies. And can we talk about that for just a minute and tell us? Last year was kind of a trial run to get it back on track, and you did it last year. But what are we targeting there, and who's coming?
So I'll give you a little history too. It started with the Volvic, which was the LPGA event like 5 years ago. It was here 3 or 4 years and just ran out of sponsorship opportunities and left. So when we got in this, we started talking about how do we get women's golf back into town. So we started with the Epson Tour. That's a financially feasible event for us to manage and everything. And last year we had 166 golfers, which is a little higher than normal because they brought in 6 women from the Taiwanese tour as a showcase event for Ann Arbor. So we had a few other, but it's a 3-day event, 54 holes. We're trying to get. Last year we had 2 college players. We had an invite from EMU and an invite from the University of Michigan.
Wow.
Sarah Hoffman, who grew up at Travis Point, her family still lives there, was competing. Michigan's assistant coach competed last year as a add-on. So we're just, in that part of it, we're just trying to build up some local, just fandom and, get some notoriety out there for the women. Other than that, it's one of those events where we're just trying to create something for the community, something different that they can go see you wouldn't normally see. The Epson Tour is very accessible. You can, it's you and me far away. You can talk to the caddy while they're teeing out. What club they hitting? What are they doing? They'll have a conversation with you. It's a lot different. Very few ropes
and so
out
this
there.
is like the future stars.
Correct. So the top 10 money winners of the Epson Tour will earn their LPGA card automatically, and they automatically graduate up to the LPGA Tour. So.
Well, as you know, we were very involved with the LPGA, and I think that it was great when they had the event here. We know we can improve on and how we make that better. But they loved the young ladies or ladies coming in, loved the town of Ann Arbor, right? It's an international town. The airport's close. The Travis Point community was phenomenal in putting these folks up and being built to give them places to stay. And they loved the course, too. That feedback I know was that they loved the course and was in great shape. And I know somebody in our office will be real excited to help you out with anything golf related at Travis Point. And Miss Christine Liphart will raise her hand. But it's good, and it's good for the community.
Exactly.
And we loved it. So I know you're working. You're putting together a committee of some individuals to
might be in this room too
to help go out, and you're recruiting some. Guys that know what they're doing to bring on the sponsorships. And if anybody's listening to us, if they want to sponsor, all your contact information will be here at the end. But it's a great way to be seen, get involved with popular sport.
It's a great way to even take your company's mission. If there's something you want to do that's different, this is the perfect event to do it. There's very few boundaries on what we can do out there. I mean, we can do so many things. Last year we did it was a $100,000 hole-in-one shootout with the American Heart Association orthopedic company that's trying to get their foot a hold in Ann Arbor. There's just so many things we can do out there. So if there is something, you got a crazy idea and you want to come out there and promote it through women's golf, bring it on. Wow. I bet we can find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, that's creative.
Yep.
And that opens up so many doors, and especially for the local business community.
Correct.
Yeah, I didn't think of it in that way at first, but that's creative.
So are you going on a record saying LPGA in 24? Or
on the record, off the record, as soon as possible.
Really?
Yeah, I know the community would love to have that back. That obviously is a much bigger animal than the Epson Tour. You know, if this year goes well and the following year goes well, I don't see why we can't get the LPGA back. We have the relationship.
Room for two?
I don't think you'd want to host two. First of all, I don't think Travis would want to host two. The LPGA takes a lot of that club. It takes the capability away from the members. They lose a lot of. The Epson Tour really doesn't have a whole lot of impact other than the golf part of it, and it's usually only like 3.5 days of golf because the members can still get out and play early in the week. And the minute the tournament's over on Saturday, we're done at 3:30 last year. There were guys out there golfing at 4:30.
Really?
I mean, they clean up and the tour's out of there and the golf course is ready to go.
Well, that's exciting.
With the LPGA, it would not be that way. It would be a couple days of cleanup and TV and the wire, just everything that's got to come off of there. So from a club standpoint, the Epson Tour is a really good fit. But the LPGA event is a great fit for Ann Arbor. I mean, the notoriety and the publicity we can get out of an event like that for the area is just it's
outstanding,
unmeasurable almost.
Well, we just have to motivate Jason Forcier there to get this going, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But what I think is neat and what I like about the Epson Tour there is that it gives we're always talking about giving young kids a chance. We're talking about different diversity and inclusion stuff, and that's about as diverse field you ever find is women's golf with all that come in. And I know we were golfing the other day with the gentleman who's trying to make it and is playing on the is it AGPA or APGA tour, and he was saying, he goes, you don't realize how important these events are to us. This is our chance, and if I win this tournament, I qualify for something else, and it's a starting career for these guys because it's a grind for these people.
Yeah, it's the same way with the Epson Tour. We did a media day last year, and we had a few of the golfers out there, but we had Michigan's assistant coach was playing, and she played on the tour for like 3 years, and then she had a back problem. So she came out of retirement to play this one event. But we had a rain delay during our little media day, so we were all inside, and the media just could not stop talking to her because she was talking about how much it costs, the grind, how the last place person makes like $420. I mean, that barely covers your fuel nowadays to get from spot to spot. It was so interesting listening to her tell about how much they appreciate being at these events and how the community just embraces them and how different it is than when you get to the LPGA. It's a different travel. It's a different level of things. But these girls really appreciate being where they are and playing at these places. We played in the Pro-Am, and the women that were paired up. I mean, it was unbelievable playing with them. They were so friendly, so appreciative, loved the place. And they're with you in the cart. They're not over there with their caddy playing their ball. And I rode with one players in my cart in my little foursome playing. We had a wonderful time. So it is a different tour event, but I think coming here and like Kevin said about the course, they said it was the best course and the best environment. They played all year on the tour. And I truly believe that. I think that place is set up. The week before when they had played down in Charlotte, they had to drive 20 miles to get to a driving range because the course they were playing at had plastic mats that you could only hit 8 irons off of. So, it's just different. So they were really, really appreciative of being in Ann Arbor.
That's great to hear that kind of a story, though. They have that accessibility to a professional athlete and, hear the day in the life.
Well, that's what people realize. I mean, from a business standpoint, to get involved with this, you're giving young people a shot, and they're extremely appreciative of it. They're interesting, and it's always unique to hear the stories that everybody has and all that other. But so many of these I remember when the Volvic was here, the rookies and people just trying to crack on. I mean, established stars are in and out. They're polite and nice.
Right.
But it's those up-and-comers, it's those rookies that they've made lifelong friendships out of, and they still are in contact with them today, supporting them at other places and seeing them, but there's not even a tour event here.
Yeah,
so.
a lot of the members out of Travis Point talk about that, how they house the players, and they've talked to those players for years down the road. They'll text them when they see their result on a weekend. They text right back and all that. Yeah, it does become like and they're kids. And they bring somebody in with a different culture. They talk about how their kids sit with the player at night, and they talk about, where they grew up and things and all this different culture they get. It's really a unique experience to be able to house the players, be around them, and just you can talk to them. You can be intimate with them versus reading about them in newspapers, seeing them on ESPN.
Is there any other professional sport that has something similar to that or similar to that?
No, I don't think that close up.
Not where I mean, they're all nice people, right?
Right.
And they come in and different stuff. But even playing in the Pro-Am here for the Rocket Mortgage, that's exciting and very neat. But again, they're established stars. They're career driven. They've got big of it. It's just off the radar, and it's really hard. Where playing with these folks, it's been nice to establish friendships and bonds that carry on past the event. So it's a great opportunity for businesses, I think.
Yeah, we did a junior clinic this year. We had over 125 kids out there and 8 of the players, and they actually spent more time than we were supposed to because they were having so much fun with the kids.
Yep.
And that's another event that if you're a business and you want to bring your staff on, we'll do a whole clinic with the players, and I guarantee they'll have a blast doing something like that because they are so good in those environments.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And in 23, when we have it back, do we have the weekend nailed
Yeah,
down
it's
yet?
June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are the tournament dates. The Pro-Am would be the 31st, I believe, is that Wednesday. The players will start moving in on Monday and Tuesday. Monday's Memorial Day, so that's still off limits on the club. That's kind of their playing holiday. So, but we'll have official practice rounds on Tuesday and Pro-Am Wednesday, and tournament will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we did it kind of unique for the finish. On Saturday, we did tee times, and we got it done by 3:30. So you don't even have to be out there till 8 o'clock at night. We were doing the awards ceremony at 3 o'clock last year, and it's great timing, and everybody still kind of had their day if they want to do something that night and everything. So it worked out really, really well.
Yeah. And even though these are amateurs, we can't beat them in golf.
No, they're pretty
There's
good.
some amazing players out there, aren't there?
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I mean, the young lady that played in Michigan, she was a senior last name. Her name was Chung. She finished 3rd and had never played in a professional tournament. And she just went – I think she shot 8 under for the whole tournament.
Wow.
She just came out of nowhere. And I mean, that was a great line. I mean, we brought her up. We brought the top amateur and the winner up on the 18th green at the end, and you could just see the smile on her face and how excited she was. And she goes, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
She was thinking about what to do next. She had a little reservations about playing, but I think she's decided to give it a shot now just by playing in that one tournament.
That's great.
Yeah.
Jumping back more immediately, we have a basketball tournament, and that's going to be the first year for this,
Yes,
correct?
yeah. So some of the things we're trying to do at the Sports Commission is create some of these homegrown events that we're kind of owners of. It'll be tagged whatever we decide to take. If we find a sponsor, we'll put a sponsor name on it. Otherwise, it'll be the Ann Arbor Sports Commission. But an easy one is basketball. Michigan's got some unique set of rules in the high school association where you can't play outside state teams or 100-mile perimeter, and there's a whole process. So this year we're working with 18 teams. We've got it's split between men and women. There'll be 3 games each day on.
So 18 high school teams.
18 high school teams. So we're going to play on the 20th of December, 21st, and 22nd. First game will be probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and we'll play 3 games each day. And we're trying to create this thing, get it off the ground, make sure we don't lose any money, which I think we'll be fine. But we want to create an event so these schools start talking. So when they come in and they're at their coaches' convention next summer, they're going, you got to go to this tournament in Ann Arbor. They did this for us. The kids got this. They did all this cool stuff. You got to play at the George Gervin Center. They were on the big screen. All that. The parents got it. We just want to create an environment there that somebody from Traverse City or Grand Rapids or whoever calls down and said, how do we get in that? How do we get in that tournament? We're not going to get a ton of hotel rooms out of this. That's not the goal. The goal in this one is to build a little community, build something that eventually can become something where we're driving a 3-day state tournament type
What's
event.
that basketball tournament that's basically like street ball, 3-on-3?
Gus Macker.
Yeah, that's it. Something along that effect.
Yeah,
Except
Gus Macker is a big deal. They still do that in Jackson every summer. There's one guy in the state that owns all the Gus Macker rights, and he runs all the Gus Macker tournaments. He was one we talked to before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And, I haven't talked to him in 2 years now because of everything that happened. But similar to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at a Gus Macker champion out there at Mount Brighton.
Wow.
Same was I back in Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, we
The
Go
brought
back a few years.
The bar is
a long time
high.
ago.
So, and that's a great event because we got some wonderful high school basketball here,
Right.
and it's really neat to see. But I'm thinking from a sponsor, and we've talked about two classic events here. Destination Ann Arbor has so much data and other touch points that they can create for a sponsor. So they could have their name on a basketball tournament, but they'll get something out of the golf. They'll get something out of everything else at Destination. And that's what's really, I think, important for.
Yeah, from we want to create a sponsorship world where you come to us with an idea and we find an event to fit it in, how it fits your mission or some specific thing you're trying to accomplish. We don't want to just take your check and put your name on an event and walk away. I mean, our social media outreach, the people we have on our mailing list, the capabilities of the George Gervin Center, just from a media standpoint, things we can do there. We're trying to create this world where sponsors become partners and not just writing us a check and walking away. We really want to do something with our sponsors and our partners to create different things, different programs, we're a nonprofit. We're not trying to make money off of any of these events. We're trying to create something in this county that we can all be proud of. Company can be proud of being part of it and keep the momentum moving and just keep it getting better and better and better as we go.
Wow. I'll bet you they appreciate that.
I hope so. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Well, hey, we're going to have you back often because you're doing so many great things there. We'll talk
Appreciate
about it. But I appreciate you lending us a few minutes today and coming in. And, continued success there. We're big fans of you and Destination Ann Arbor and the Sports Commission, what we're trying to do. So keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.